Alright, let's get one thing out of the way. No, I'm not an insatiable bottom, nor am I an unforgiving top. Can we get our minds out of the gutter? Queer people ask each other all the time to not put one another in a box, and yet we only ask questions like this 4 years ago. And yet we've made no progress. But in a way, I guess it's my fault because I asked for it. I haven't really had a moment to like catch up with you guys personally. I've been trying to slowly get more active again on social media because I realized other than YouTube, I've barely really done anything. I barely posted on Instagram at all this past year. A lot of that had to do with really not wanting to be seen. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. So I just didn't want to be looked at all. And now that I'm starting to post again, I've been getting a lot of questions on people asking me like where I'm at, especially since it's been officially like 6 months since I've left LA. So I figured instead of just doing a video where I sit here and just talk to you guys, I'd ask you guys straight up, what is it you want to know? What are any new things that you might assume about me or assume that's going on so I could clear up the air? Even though apparently no one's assuming anything new, it's been the same shit for 4 years. I mean, I guess things could have changed during that time. What did I say? I don't even remember how I answered that question last time.
Many of you are referring to me as an unforgiving top or an insatiable bottom. More of you prefer the bottom answer. Let me go on record and say it's not that I have a problem with either. If I'm hooking up with another dude, I prefer to top. That's not because I have a stigma against either.
I could explain that further. I will get into that. Hold on.
That's not because I have a stigma against either. I just have trauma, which makes one of these options very difficult for me to do.
And we're actually starting to handle it in therapy 4 years later. Because one of those things I can only do while under the influence of certain substances, as we all know, that got a little bit out of hand. And the reasoning behind that we've learned through therapy is because when I was going through terrible things when I was younger, I would do these substances to pretend I wasn't there. So I mentally trained myself at a young age to only do certain sexual acts while under the influence of those substances. So to answer your question, I'm not fucking nobody. I'm not a bottom or a top. I'm by myself. Some of you might be wondering, why are you alone? Why aren't you just a top option if that's the case? Well, for me to do that, I actually have to like you. And we're learning that I have a problem with that as well. It's not just being submissive alone. It's being with anyone, period. Oh, this is so weird to talk about on camera and not to it like a therapist. I don't know why I'm like worried about being judged now after everything I've shared on social media. I've talked about trafficking, I've talked about drug abuse, but the fact that I can't have meaningful sex, now I'm bashful. What? Forget substances. My therapist asked me, when was the last time you had sex with a man sober? Like of anything, even alcohol. And I had to sit there and realize that I don't think I ever had. Forget like how long ago it's been. I don't think it's ever happened. And I didn't want to say that online because then the Republicans are gonna think that the drugs and alcohol make you gay. You got Charlie Sheen on a documentary spewing that he started having sex with men only in the peak of his addiction. That's the last narrative I want to portray anymore on the internet, especially because I know how I sound. I know how I act. And then I'm gonna come on here and talk about being bi again and everyone's gonna yell at me, stop talking about being bi! It's crucial to the story! Especially because the only time I've ever had sober sex was with a girl. The girl I dated for 5 years. I wasn't fucked up the whole time. So it's confusing, okay? I don't really know how to answer that. Am I an insatiable bottom or an unforgiving top? You know what the answer is? I'm fucked up. I'm severely fucked up. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm dealing with this in my 30s, okay?
There's one thing I think we can all agree upon, it's nobody likes a crying bottom. And if you do, maybe you're the one that should be in therapy.
And then no one likes a crying bottom and no one likes a bottom that's freaking out and on drugs and doing all these crazy things. People actually, that's how they think about me. See, this is where my mind goes. Now I'm gonna lose it. There are people out there now who are always just gonna think that that's how I am to be intimate with. And you know what, that's bullshit. Because now I have performance anxiety and now I'm just scared and now I just wanna be left alone, but I also wanna be loved and cuddled at the same time. It's complicated. I can't wait for somebody to ask me, why are you single? But as you can see, it's a work in progress. We're working on it, okay? We're growing. Why aren't I fucking more girls? Because I'm sitting here going growing. Like what? Who wants to fuck that? No one! Because unless anyone out there is sexually attracted to Gurr from Invader Zim, I'm fucked. Whatever, I'm spiraling. Let's answer these other fucking questions. What's your motto for this year? Honestly, trust the universe. Because for anybody out there who's actively tried to better themselves, work on themselves, and tackle your demons, you need to put your trust in something. And I'm gonna put it in the universe. Otherwise, I'm gonna end up like Lo Anthony, becoming spiritual, because who am I gonna put it in? God? He got me here. Imagine after all this, I just pop on here one day reading Bible verses. Imagine. I mean, listen, no shame. I don't knock religion. I don't knock anything that makes you a better person and helps you at the end of the day, whatever it is. It could be religion, it could be spaghetti. I don't give a fuck. Whether it's for me or not, if it makes you a better person, if it helps you in any way, as long as you are not then negatively impacting other people, because just because something worked for you doesn't mean it's gonna work for everybody. You don't wanna go preaching it to the world. Like, Jesus saves, yeah? Tell that to everybody you're sending thoughts and prayers to on Facebook. Something like that should be personal because it personally benefited you. Keep that to yourself. You could share it if people are asking questions and you want to help them, go ahead. But don't push your beliefs on other people, whether it helped you or not. Like, I might not be religious, but when I say I'm putting my faith in like the universe, it really just means I'm trusting the process at the end of the day. In order to not become like devoured by depression and terrible thoughts, I need to believe that the universe takes things away to open up new opportunities. You need to lose your old self to become the new, better self that you're destined to be. Otherwise, what's the point of all of this? You know, like, why work on yourself if it's not for anything? You need to believe in like something, and that something could be yourself. It's a good way of thinking because if you break up with somebody or you lose friends or you lose a job, you gotta trust that it's for something better. Otherwise, we're all gonna fucking lose our minds. As a barback in a gay nightclub, how do I avoid getting my dick grabbed? You don't. Unfortunately, you don't, and if you complain about it, everyone's gonna look at you like you're crazy. Even though everybody gets behind not sexually harassing women at their job, if you're a guy, they just kind of tell you to deal with it. Be a man. That makes fucking sense. We live in a society where men can't be sexually abused. That's silly. Is it? Look at me. Look, oh, it doesn't cause problems for people? Really? Really? It doesn't? Oh my God, that's so crazy. It's so crazy that you think that. I'm living proof that it does. It takes a lot of work to fix. That's actually a big reason why I stopped working in those spaces. Because in those spaces, you kind of just have to accept that it happens because no one's helping you. There's no HR at a bar. And this isn't to paint queer spaces in a negative light at all. Like, there's terrible people everywhere you go. But since it's something that happens, I removed myself. I removed myself from places where I had to just accept being treated like a piece of meat. I removed myself from anywhere that wasn't making me feel good about myself anymore, whether that's social media or LA or whatever. I went back to be with family and people I've known my whole life because I got the things that I thought were gonna make me happy. I got the TV show. I got the followers. I got the YouTube career. I did all of it. And instead of being happy, I became more depressed than I've ever been in my entire life. And I needed to figure out why. This video is just gonna be a shit ton of tangents. Whatever, this is my house, okay? I built this, I can do whatever I want. I should try to give advice to this person though, shouldn't I? I don't know, wear a cup to work. Wear a cup instead of a jockstrap, you know? Stop asking for it. Don't even get me started. Move to a new universe where people treat each other with basic respect. I don't know. Are you living back in New Jersey full time or are you only going back to New Jersey temporarily? Good question. I don't know. Like I said, I came back here because I have roots here. I have family. I have lifelong friends. It's like a safe space, which is a space I need to be in at the moment. And it's been really good for me. I've seen a lot of comments of people saying I look happier. And to that, I want to say, thank you. I am. There are negatives to being back here alone. Like I will say, as good as my mental health is and as great as it is to be around like family and old friends, it's still, believe it or not, lonely. I'm used to being a much more socially active person. I also miss being a part of such a queer community, which is weird because I just talked about how detrimental it was in some spaces. In some spaces, because the only queer spaces aren't queer bars like the Abbey. I just miss being a part or being around a queer community because being back around straight people after not doing this for a decade has been quite the experience. If I want to be around a gay person, I gotta drive an hour to New York City or down to Asbury Park. So I guess the thing I'm also missing right now is a sense of community. In a perfect world, I would have it all, but as many queer people in the world know, not everywhere is West Hollywood. That's why queer people have to leave the towns or spaces that they're in to be more comfortable, to be unapologetically themselves. So there's good and bad. For right now, I don't have any plans of going anywhere. Is this gonna be where I am forever? I don't know yet. But hey, trust in the universe. Trusting that the universe will lead me in the right direction to my Valhalla. Do you like hairy or smooth? Okay, I mean, I guess again, it depends the person. I don't really have like a specific type of physical person. Because again, am I talking about girls or am I talking about guys? And with that in mind, why is one okay and not the other? Why would it be okay for me to sit here and say, oh, I only want smooth men, but if I said that about women, oh my god, offensive. Why is it body shaming for one, but not for the other? Why is one a preference and the other's offensive? Do you see how we look at things differently? But luckily for me, it really doesn't matter. It depends the person. Some people to me look better with more hair. Some people to me look better with less hair. But then again, my opinion doesn't dictate what is good and what is not. I will say that I don't like completely shaved genitalia downstairs parts. To me, that gives like child, and that is a problem with me. I also don't want it to be completely unruly because then it just looks like you don't take care of yourself. So what do I want at the end of the day? I want somebody that can take care of themselves, okay? I just want somebody that can take care of themselves physically and mentally as I sit here and spiral online. I'm trying to become somebody that I'd actually want to date, okay? If I expect someone to take care of themselves, I need to start doing the same as well. Which, look at me, I'm trying. What's been your on repeat song this year? Oh, Cat's Eye. Assume dating is easy for you. Question, is it though? Oh, I don't know. Do I need to answer this? I feel like I already have. But here's the thing though, I think that dating me actually is kind of easy with all this being said. Because at least I'm somebody that's aware of the problem. At least I'm somebody that's actively working, trying to fix it. That's better than 90% of these bitches out there. Imagine if I thought I was great. Like, imagine if I just thought it was perfect. I'm sure we've all dated a narcissist. Dating somebody who has emotional intelligence, I think that's pretty great. Hi, I'm Mike. These are the things I'm working on. These are the things that are gonna be difficult about being with me before you decide to do that or enter that endeavor. If you're okay with that, then great. I also like to eat food and watch anime in bed. I'm upfront about all my shit, okay? I don't hide nothing. I make sure everybody reads the contract before they sign their name, which doesn't always work out because I've had experiences where they then use it against me. They're like, ooh, he's mentally fragile with issues. Let's get him. And then people want to know why I don't go on dates. Add trust issues to the list. I don't know, met a few times and will say, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. That's something I do pride myself on. I don't think I've ever met anybody that said they knew me from like a show or YouTube or anywhere on social media and then was an asshole to them. Okay, I always said happy birthday to Sarah. I'm a people pleaser, okay? I just want everyone to like me. Because honestly, one thing about me is I give a lot of a fuck. I think I put on the face of like somebody that doesn't give a fuck. No, I give a lot of fucks. Okay, please. Aris used to tell me all the time that I'm too much of a people pleaser. I just don't like when somebody doesn't like me. Especially when I know what I did. Like, especially if I was in the wrong, then I beat myself up about it for years. And there are situations where I gotta stop that. I gotta learn when not to be a people pleaser, when not to be nice. But for people that like support me, I don't think there's any reason to not be anything other than polite. Like for the last 10 years, I've had a job because of you. You know what I mean? Y'all are my boss, okay? Because you can't fire me, but you can stop watching. And if that happens enough, then I'm out of a career. I will say there's a lot of questions on here that I don't understand how people wouldn't know. Why did you move? Are you gay? What? How are you somebody that follows me and you don't know these answers? Like if you take the time to not only watch my story, but want to be active in a video, I'm sure that you've seen something. That you last a while in bed. Oh, I'm gonna disappoint a lot of you right now. Here's the thing, I wouldn't say that this is true by any means. Because obviously if I'm somebody that can't be intimate sober, when I try to, then I'm gonna have a lot of performance anxiety. Maybe I should like have sex with somebody and find out, that would be great. I haven't had sex in months. Trusting the process, okay? Trust in the universe, okay? Because I know you're tired, okay? You're notorious for farting or crop dusting people whenever you're in public. I'm laughing because it's true. Especially when I'm bartending. Oh, that's such a disgusting trait that I shouldn't be admitting online, but I'm gonna. Because when you're working an 8-hour shift behind a bar, and you don't have time to run to the bathroom all the time if it's busy, and one squeaks out, and it does smell, but you pretend like everything's fine, hoping that nobody noticed, and you hear people on the other side of the bar, obviously noticing it, trying to look around them and figure out who it is because we're in a crowded, confined space, and they never expect it to be the bartender. And then I find it fun to like watch them accuse each other. I've literally sat there behind the bar and like played into it, like, yeah, ew, who was that? Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna get a date after this for sure. I'm painting myself in such a great light. I have a lot of mental issues and I crop dust people in public. I'm like, what? Since beginning your mental health journey, you've become a homebody. Okay, yes, but that's another thing I've been working on. How many times am I gonna say that? How many times am I gonna answer this with I've been working on it? But I have been. My entire life the past few months have been a complete work in progress, but there has been progress. I became a homebody because I wasn't able to be in like public situations yet. I did a whole 6 months completely sober because it was something I needed to do. I would get urges to do or partake in bad things. But after a while of taking a step back and working on it, I've been like dipping my toe back into the social scene, and it's been going great. I'm able to drink again without those urges. I'm able to be in a social setting and not feel like I need to be somebody else or put on a mask. That's a positive side effect of leaving LA. I'm social around people I actually feel comfortable around, and it's been mentally beneficial. So have I been a homebody for the past few months? Yes. However, especially this past month, it's been something that's been getting a lot better. I've been going out a lot more, feeling comfortable. You are a deep and romantic person, but tend to attract shallow people because you're hot. Okay, well, I guess, thank you. I try not to pick people based on looks. I really do go more for personality, but in this like confined area that I'm in, especially not being around a lot of queer people, the only thing I really have to go to are the apps. And on the apps, you really only have one thing to judge somebody on, which is why they're so terrible. Even the dates. Like, I haven't been on many dates, but I remember being on a date once where the guy literally looked at me and went,
I thought you were hot, and then I got to know you.
and I was like, oh, okay, excuse me for not wanting to do this ever again. I just want somebody to be nice to me. Like, is that hard? I don't know why it's hard. Like, that's it. I just want you to be nice to me. I'm sorry, okay? I guess that's a lot to ask. Especially being a more monogamous person, like, I even get shit to my face about that. Like, I don't have any problem with open relationships. If you guys want to be open and it works for you, amazing. I wish I could be. I never give people shit about that. But when I say I'm monogamous, I get, like, attacked. Oh, so you're jealous. No, I'm not jealous. I just don't want you having sex with other people if you're dating me. Or they'll be like, oh, you're insecure. You're so selfish. You really want to put limits on the person you're with? You must be so full of yourself if you think that you're really enough for someone. You know that the humans, men, were not ever supposed to just be with one person? Listen, that's fine. That is fine. I can't handle it. That's a me thing. If it's a problem for you, then we're just not a match. That's okay. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but why does everybody make me feel like there's something wrong with me? Because I wouldn't say I'm a jealous person. I wouldn't say I'm a cocky person. Maybe a little bit insecure, obviously, because I went through shit, but I'm just somebody who's experienced being shared in their life, and I know what that did to me, and I know that I won't be able to handle it in a relationship. It'll make me a negative person. I don't ever want to be shared again. That for me, to me. So to answer your question, yes, I guess I do attract a lot of shallow people apparently who have like a PhD in gaslighting, and I don't put up with that shit because I know when I'm being gaslit. And I'm like, what's wrong here? Shut it down. And the only way I can shut it down is by removing myself from the situation, and I just don't end up dating at all, and then I end up alone. That's how we end up here. Would you ever consider doing some sort of fan meet event? Totally valid if it's not your thing. I've gotten this several times in past videos as well. And here's I'm gonna always say this. I would love to do that. I dream about doing stuff like that. But the fear of thinking or knowing that like no one would show up is what prevents me from ever doing it. Even if I had like millions of followers, I don't think I would ever be able to do it because that fear would suffocate me. Especially if I were to try and then it happened. Oh my God, it would devastate. I don't think I would recover. I'm too fragile, okay? I don't have the confidence for it. I don't need to throw a whole event for myself. If you see me in public, come on over. I'm polite, I'm a people pleaser, I give great hugs. With that being said, all in all, how am I doing? Fine. Listen, I think I'm doing just as good as all of y'all expected. I don't think any of these answers came out of left field. I think I've been this way the entire time I've been on the internet. I don't think I said anything in this video that was necessarily new. But what I hope you got from these answers is there's been progress. Am I completely healed? No. I may never be healed, but I'm aware of it and I'm finally dealing with it, and there's been positives that have come from it. Because I've said it in the past, I've talked about going to therapy, I've talked about trying to treat myself better, but you guys have seen me actually do something about it, actually move myself from toxic situations, actively not do those things again, actively sit here and talk about how I've been processing it and how it's been better for me mentally. Because in the past, I think I would talk about it and then 4 months later spiral again on the internet. And who knows, maybe that'll happen again. But you know what that is? That's life. I think a great message from this video is that working on yourself is a constant process. I don't think anybody betters themselves and never messes up again in their life or doesn't ever take a few steps back from time to time. If I'm an example of anything, it's that process is okay. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to not always be okay. You only fail when you give up, when you stop trying to better yourself, when you just do nothing but complain about the problems, but never actually do anything about it. You might never be all better, okay? But wanting to be better is the whole point. How's that? Look, a message. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe for future ones. I put them out weekly. But if that's not all, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm MikeMGTV, and you are fucking welcome. Goodbye.